Hello there, I'm Tracilee Langston, and I'm a part of Women on the Frontlines Arise Academy, and this is a part of our summer devotional on the fruits of the Spirit. This week's fruit is goodness. Now, the goodness of God has been explained as exhibiting His mercy, compassion, and grace. And how can we see and show this fruit of His goodness? I have an example of one way we can do that. A few weeks back, I'd gone to the grocery store, but I couldn't find that one thing on my list that I wanted. So thinking that it'd be a quick trip in, a quick trip out, and then I could quickly head home, I thought I'd stop at Family Dollar. Well, they did have what I needed, and I went to stand in line behind a woman checking out, and she was having a conversation with the only cashier there. I heard that it was going to be the cashier's anniversary, that the woman in front of me, her birthday was in a couple of days, but I also heard the cashier say many times that her legs were hurting just over and over, and you could see the pain in her face and that it wasn't an exaggeration. The woman in front of me completed her transaction and left. I felt an urge from Holy Spirit, so I asked if I could speak a blessing over the cashier's anniversary. And she said yes, that she'd like that. So I took her hand and started to pray that blessing over her, her marriage, and them as a couple. And you could see that she just had a peace in her as she opened her heart to receive that blessing. When I had finished, she said thank you, and I went to leave. I was thinking about the pain in her legs that she had complained about, and I almost stopped. But instead, I went ahead and walked out the door. Well, God stopped me on the other side of that door and said very clearly, go pray for her legs. So I turned around and I went back in. By that time, she had stepped around the counter, and as I walked up to her, I said that I felt that God wanted me to pray for her legs. Could I? And she said, oh, yes, please. So I put my hand on her shoulder, and I felt like I'd said, no, put your hands on her legs. So I knelt down, put my hands on her calves, with her permission, of course, and I prayed for her legs. You could just feel the presence of God, the goodness of God. When I finished, I stood up. I didn't even have to ask if she felt better because she threw her arms around my neck and she just hugged me. And now she was saying over and over, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now God gets the glory. It wasn't me. It was His goodness that sent me to that store. It was His goodness that stopped me. And I left that store knowing that she knew God saw her pain, that she knew God cared, and that He cared not only about her pain, which is indeed very important, but even intimately about her and her marriage. And she experienced the goodness of God. And me allowing God to show His goodness, that was the fruit of goodness. When we show His goodness, it can touch lives and change lives, and it can even change you. Now, of course, this isn't the only way that we can show God's goodness. We show it when we lend a helping hand to a neighbor, when we give a meal to a family that's just lost a loved one, or giving a hug to someone who's down. There are numerous ways to show His goodness. Gentleness, kindness, and the other fruits of the Spirit are so intertwined that it all shows the goodness of God and how much He loves us and others. The fruit of the Spirit isn't to keep to ourselves. It's to produce this wonderful, juicy, sweet-tasting fruit to pass on to others so that they can know His love and know His grace and know His goodness. I hope this has encouraged you to take a step of faith and show His goodness in the way that He has shown you to do so. I would also like to invite you to take a look at the Women on the Frontlines webpage. And if you're interested, maybe join the Arise Academy and become a member. Your membership not only goes for classes for you, but to help in human trafficking of women and young girls, to help educate them and show them the life, the love, and the goodness of God. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your summer, and God bless.